Jay How a hot dog, will ya?
Seems awkward.
1-800-esports.hots. And just send it to
Dot
that.
hots in a telephone number?
Yeah, man. Get with the future. All right, draft time. First band, first pick on the side of Vox Nihili.
All right, this is a map, again, it always lends towards Abathur, but it also lends more towards Zeratul. And this is a map that if you're going Zeratul, you generally pick it later in the draft, and that's normally when it's always safe to pick Zeratul. But a player like Glaurung is not afraid to pick it early, and so we'll see if that goes. We saw in the previous series for Chu8's team, they banned Tassadar early and tried to look at it late, but Zeratul was banned during the second ban phase against their opponent earlier.
And it's just like, it's very prominent on this map too. You know what's interesting, I think, with the current state of heroes and like the current state of globals is like how Zagara just kind of fell off the face of the earth, right? She used to be, if we look at North America at like PAX West, we saw tons and tons of Zagara play, but the nerf bat hit her hard.
Yeah, and it's a little bit surprising. I don't think she's in a bad spot. I mean, obviously, it doesn't bring as much to the table as some of the other heroes, which she's fallen in priority. Maybe if there was another ban phase, we might be looking at Zagara going away. But we are where we are at in one of the most balanced metas that we've ever had in Heroes of the Storm. But Vox Nihili actually with a first ban Tassadar on their side.
I like that. Just take it away. You know that if you leave Tasvala up and you want to go for that mouth, that's a very powerful duo. Glaurung has already proven he's very good on the Vala, and we could see the Tasvala be a threat. So they're going to take that away, go for the Malfurion. ETC seems like a guaranteed. Beyond that, it could be that early Zeratul. It could be ETC to Dahaka. So that is Chu8 Mahatosh potentially showing their cards, though, because commonly it's Dahaka played by Glaurung, and that kind of makes the threat of the Zeratul and the Illidan a little bit less likely.
But could it be all right, now? If we were able to take this, and I'd love to have the stats on this, it's very difficult, but you're probably going to bait Vox Nihili into taking Tychus, and we have not seen great well, Vox Nihili has a thought of their own. They are going to pick up Tychus, but they're going to pick up Zeratul for themselves.
Well, it's one way to not have to worry about it. Okay. Starting out quick. Going into the next bands. Chu8 Mahatosh. Dogi. Doge.
It's kind of a crucial moment. And Li Ming, Vala still on the board. I was getting ready to say, they're still on the board, but could we be looking at that Wombo combo? Obviously, Chu8, Mahatogi, not wanting to deal with any bit of cheese potentially coming out. It's not even cheese, it's just good strategy.
Oh, the VP Ringer Frost combo, yeah.
They're just like, it's just not going to happen.
I respect that. It can just, outright win fights late game, and then they can just win games. Vox. Got to be thinking maybe they can restrict global support. Brightwing seems like a good option for them because that would be triple global, and the support fits right in. There is the Brightwing ban.
I like the call. I like the call a lot. Falstad's still on the board. We saw them play it last game. Still not a heavily prioritized hero in most circumstances. They already have the global with Dahaka, but remember, they've had this double warrior protect the hammer comp style before.
Yeah, that's
Zeratul makes that a little bit more difficult. But Vox Nihili has not shown anything outside of Zeratul that can really get to that back line. The fact that they've already picked up Tychus, if they opt to pick up another ranged hero, leaving Chu8 the last pick, they might look into a hammer composition, allowing heroes like Dahaka and Falstad to be able to be there in the drop of a hat, to be able to defend an area that Hammer's in, or to be able to soak lanes while Hammer's in another one.
Good points. They're giving it some thought.
This has to be a support pickup right here, right?
Right. You don't show the hammer yet because you don't want them to be able to craft their comp based around that. In the event they still want hammer. You lock in your support here. The question is who? Tyrande, not really the best. Medic could be okay. I mean, the Zeratul is scary, though. I honestly like Rhaegar the best here, but that's not at all meta right now. There's the hammer.
I mean, you now leave yourself the threat that they can pick some type of dive hero, and maybe they were waiting to pick up their support for the answer as opposed to wait and see should we pick up hammer. They're fully committed to it. And if Vox Nihili had done their research, then they weren't going to sneak it into the back end of the draft. But I still would have liked to seen it maybe attempted to where, maybe they were just afraid that Vox Nihili was going to pick up hammer. I highly doubt it, but this is 3 times on Cursed Hollow we've seen them pick Hammer and double Warrior. And
Who's the tank?
I feel like Muradin. Again, we're seeing Li Ming again.
We've seen like 0 Muradin today.
It's so baffling. Korea is probably thinking, yeah, okay.
Well, doesn't control the space as well as a hero like ETC or Johanna.
Since they went Li Ming, I think it should be Johanna.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The shield glare is, and you can go in with the condemn if you need to pull them away, but
They do go Muradin.
Okay.
Okay, last pick here. It's going to be a support. Ariel seems like the safest option. Obviously, the Zeratul going to put pressure on no matter what the support is, since there's no, there's a small case for Uther versus Zeratul, but
I don't know. I mean, it's just the Li Ming, solid choice, but I said it in the first series today, is that a lot of people like Li Ming and Hammer, but good teams won't necessarily be thinking we're worried about this at all.
Karazim. Well, he's going to be a lot less scared of the Zeratul and, of course, Earth Ally to deal with some of the Zeratul Tychus pressure as they're looking for that damage. We'll deny a lot of those combo attacks that he'll be looking for. What do you think about the draft, Jay Howe?
I think that Chew Ate My Hot Doggy got exactly what they wanted. The Kerosene pick, we're going to see how that fits. We haven't seen a lot of that.
Right.
But we're going to see how it fits. And I think that they got a lot of what they wanted. 2 globals, potentially 3 with ETC and Sergeant Hammer. I mean, they couldn't have asked for much more.
Well, here we go. 1-0 lead for Chew Ate My Hot Doggy, who had a 8.5-minute win on Brax's holdout in game number 1. Really crushing victory on their half, looking to make it a 2-0. But Vox Nihili, the number 1 seed in this event, going to try to shut them down.
Well, we're going to see how well that works for them as we are headed into game number 2. Chew Ate My Hot Doggy up 1-0. They're going to be on the left in blue one more time as we see Glaurung is going to be on that Dahaka, Justin on ETC, Buds on Karazim, Yoda on Falstad, and Chew Ate one more time playing Sergeant Hammer.
I love watching him play Hammer. I really do. But I also love watching Vox Nihili. Lex Luthor on Malfurion. Zoo's going to be on that Zeratul Daihu on Muradin. Raffle playing Tychus and Nightmare on the Lamingus. Zeus has paused the game. Let's take a look at these talents, J-How.
I know it's solo Karazim. ETC obviously gives a little bit of self-heal for himself. Dahaka can stay alive as well. We've been seeing Mines build at level 7 as opposed to First Aid for Sergeant Hammer. But are you surprised that we're seeing Iron Fist since it's a solo Karazim and not Transcendence?
A little bit, but not incredibly. I think we will see very safe builds by Chew. Like, Chew might not go First Aid, but he'll probably go Stone Skin. We could see the Static Shield for Falstad, just to make him a little bit more, safe when he does get collapsed on by a Zeratul. That's a common response to Zeratul in general, just because, like, when he's going in for all that damage, you throw the W down, you sustain through his damage and force him away at the same time. Looks like the ready has been signaled, and here we go.
All right, well, we've seen the strategies come out continuously already from Chew Ate's team. They force your rotations. They do it with Sergeant Hammer. We now see that they've got everybody except for Dahaka going to that top lane. Will Vox Nihili be able to respond without having a global hero? They're going to be slow on those rotations when it comes to that, and we're going to see it play out here in the top lane.
We do have Wingman for Falstad. Asties gets the soak throughout the game. You can find nice timings for, quick Merc camps. Chew will get a free tower as Justin and Yoda patiently controlling this space.
Well, he got rooted.
Yeah, but good retreat, and they get the 1 tower.
You get the 1 tower instantly healed up there. Yes, you take a shot, but you give up so much more. Zoo's down at the bottom, and he's going to be there. But guess who else is going to be joining him? Glaurung says, wait a minute, we got to get some soak in the bottom lane. Guys, I got this.
Yep, nice clean rotation. He just soaked the mid lane and went straight down to bottom just to min-max for his team and allowed Chew to get that damage done. The 1 free tower, something we commonly see from Chew Ate My Hot Doggy.
Yeah, and sometimes I kind of wonder. Obviously, it's a safer tower, but I think we saw their first game of the day. The first tribute actually spawned in that little area right below that brush in the middle. sometimes it's better to take the bottom tower, just because if you're chasing for a kill or you're trying to fight around that bush, you don't have towers shooting at you. The top one isn't necessarily a threat during that first tribute phase, so whether it's just to play it safe or not, that's their call. A lot of times we'll see the priority to the closest one.
Interesting laning matchup that's forced when you have Sergeant Hammer. It just forces this 3-1-1 pretty much guaranteed because the pressure Hammer can put on. Zeus is just kind of hanging out in stealth form, soaking, throwing out the Void Slashes whenever he thinks it's safe, but Yoda also just kind of playing on the backside and making sure he doesn't take any unnecessary damage. One single auto, dodges the Singularity Spike, and B steps in response.
Yoda having a little bit of fun down there in that bottom lane with Zeus, and you can see Yoda controlling that lane. The Glaurung should get the winner out of this middle lane pretty easily against a solo Murd, and you can see that top tower already completely out of ammo. Daihu taking a bit of damage. Stormbolt to the face in return.
Yeah, typically speaking, you take that much damage, it's a bad sign, but of course the trait of Murden makes it a non-issue. Zeus misses Singularity Spike once more, and this time going to have to tap the well because he took an unfavorable trade going in towards Yoda.
Well, here we go again. Tribute up in that top area, same as we talked about before. A little bit of an experience advantage, but nothing out of the ordinary. We see Glaurung, though, going to the bottom. He's going to soak up another wave of experience. That Brush Stalker will be available if needed.
Yep, just going to try to max that soak for his team. They do have the global advantage. Yoda flew up, took a big orb to the face, justing tap. Yoda will follow. Lex Luthor going to get the channel here on the tribute. Chew It by Hot Doge just took a little bit too much damage from the Leeming on multiple heroes.
Yeah, that's going to be key. There's the Stormbolt going in. The roots are there as well. ETC in all kinds of trouble. Power slides out. He's not out of danger just yet. Rumpelcopter trying to secure the kill, but now he's in trouble.
Wow. Buds with no fear, just forcing Raffle back, but the push-in was successful. Going to get a couple towers out of it, taking control of this lane after getting that tribute experience. Dead even due to the superior soak, but Zoo's going to be down here to soak, keeping things in check. Vox looking good so far.
Yeah, looking good so far. I'm going to keep an eye on those wingman stacks. He only has 16 available to him. Not enough to grab that siege camp just yet. But tribute spawning here on the favorable side of Vox Nihili means the next one will be on the favorable side. And the same structure on the side of Chew It by Hot Doge next. Strategy heavily involved. Vox Nihili definitely want to make sure.
And I start saying Dogi, you start saying Doge.
Dogi.
Dealt 2 for nothing on the tribute count, just giving it up. Respecting that it's on their side of the map, and that's a really nice start for Vox. Obviously, doesn't actually mean anything until you get the third one, but still, ease of mind they have.
Ease of mind indeed. Glaurung, he knows more than what to do against the Zeratul. As the Zeratul main himself, we see the siege camp now being pushed in up at the top. That should give them something to get their bank, get a little bit more experience. But Yoda, Daihu here in the middle.
Static shield paying off there, just making sure he doesn't take any damage from that fight. Already pushed in these towers. Glau going to try to keep that push on as Buds rotates as well. They've conceded their position in top as Falset's going to be going in for the soak. Chew just wants to finish this off. It looks like no, they're going for the
They're
bottom.
just going to go all the way down. They realize the next tribute will be spawning in their favorable side. And they can really do whatever they wanted. They get the advantage in that rotation because of that up at the top, as we see Zeus getting picked off there. But this is what we've seen from these Hammer comps, is that they'll force rotations and they'll simply siege up and take advantage of getting those structures in the race to 10, and they're on.
Well, the globals will start to come into play here, though, as a lane of additional experience will be picked up by Falstad as he stays in the top. The collapse happening. Justing has been spotted. The Stormbolt in. Big damage behind. The roots are there. Goodbye, Justing.
Wow, talk about good timing. He went to power slide out and got stunned, and it couldn't have been better timing because this is tribute number 3, and we see Vox Nihili already up 2-0. This is going to be very tough to defend. They're just going to give it up. This is a curse at 5.5 minutes in favor of Vox Nihili.
It's a really good start. Chew It by Hot Doge have had this top lane presence, which is going to help them out significantly. Glaurung just brush stalkered up. Zeus may not be aware of this. They're actually expecting the collapse in. He steps forward. He blinks in the drag. Beautiful play by Glaurung.
Baited so hard right there. Excellently done. At the same time, though, getting good value out of the bottom. No return fire from the towers because of that curse. They're getting a lot of value down here in the bottom, but both teams pretty close to 10, Jake.
Yeah, just about here. Good Radiant Dash to get away from the roots. Good siege up so far, but not quite enough for a 4. All 3 lanes have been controlled relatively well by Chew It by Hot Doge during this curse. Yoda's just going to make sure the mid lane is safe. Level 10 has just been locked in, those heroics being selected.
Yeah, you know, they're giving a little bit of experience away and a little bit of structure damage away, but they've picked up a pretty significant amount themselves, has Chuate Mahadogi. They're still waiting to lock in their heroics. They're waiting to see if Li Ming will go that wave of force before ETC opts to go into Mosh Pit or Stage Dive. So holding on to that. Same for Karazim. He ends up going 7-sided strike.
I'm actually a little surprised about 7-sided over Palm. But they're looking to be able to seclude that Solo Muradin and just kind of like end his life. If they can force the Dwarf Toss out, how do they actually put the pressure on this team? How do they actually get to that Sergeant Hammer? A good zoning utility no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, Wave of Force was picked up. ETC still hasn't locked in. We see Zeus, though, lurking in the shadows there, staying cloaked. He does have Void Prison available if needed, but they've got Siege Camp. All 5 members here pushing in.
Chu is sieged up behind this tower. Bud's taking a lot of damage himself, though, and the VP is out. Daihu in position to look at Buds, but 7-side strike used immediately. Stormbolt held onto. Buds will end up dying here, but behind that, there's huge damage. Look at that gust. They're collapsed in. Rafflecopter is so low, but the Void Slash gets the kill onto ETC.
Mosh Pit was canceled out there, and that was one of the most crucial things that happened. He was not able to cast it. Before he was able to cast it, was interrupted. If that had landed, that might have been a completely different fight. But he was on that backside in prime position. Instead, they lose 2 members and a fort.
Falstad did grab the Giants via Wingman stacks in the top, and Dahaka had been pushing it here, so that's going to do a bit of damage. Experience still quite even, but that was a really nice fight for Vox.
It was a very good fight, and I think that Chuate is going to be pushing it on the boss right now. And so far, Vox Nihili hasn't started theirs. I'm a little bit surprised at their rotation. They're probably looking to pick up the Bruiser camp and then pick up the boss, and I think that's a really good call for both teams if they have to do so. There they go. They're starting to rotate off of that, allowing Lex Luthor to finish it. Both teams mirroring themselves, picking up the boss.
Yeah, I mean, the game dead even when it boils down to it. Not going to see any risky calls here. With like a Falstad Gust or anything. They're just going to go up to defend. Bottom boss will be pushing in. Chue looked like he might be hanging out, but he's going to opt to rotate with his team.
You know, one of the things that actually does, by picking up that Bruiser camp staggered, it allowed them to think, hey, maybe we can go up there and interrupt. And they're like, wait a minute, maybe we can't. So now they've got a Bruiser camp pushing in. They didn't pick up one of their own. But look at this. Glaurung caught out on Dahaka. Mighty Gust has been used.
Isolation in onto the Zeus there on that Zeratul, but Raffle is their target. Big damage, power slide in. The Mosh Pit gets interrupted quickly, but Daihu, he's all by himself. VP from Zeus might be a bad omen.
Yeah, Daihu in a little bit of trouble, and he does go down. They should be able to rotate over and clear this up. I'm not sure if we have any more globals available as the tribute spawned in the meantime. Falstad does have his flight available, is going to pick that up.
First tribute to 2-8 my hot doggy has been picked up here. Level lead due to that last fight, due to the boss picking things up in the bottom. They're going to be able to clean that up with ease. Glaurung working on this. This boss will do a bit more damage, but Yoda's already on the case for these guys with the Wingman stacks.
Yeah, let's actually take a look at the middle lane because they've kind of split this off. They've allowed Chuate and Buds to do work here in the middle while the rest of the team is busy clearing up the boss, picking up a camp. So I like their strategy by splitting their team. They're giving up a little bit, but I think they're gaining a lot more in return.
I mean, a level lead is definitely something sizable. Falstad build, he is going all on in, charged up, picked up, as well as Thunder Strikes. So this is very anti-Zeratul. He doesn't want to be that fried chicken that Zeratul wants to gobble up. And when you're looking at this solo, very low healing Karazim, I think that's super smart as well.
All right, Justin, already been sniffed out. Stormbolt has been used. Again, Mosh Pit on a very long cooldown. 15 seconds till VP. This tribute in a very interesting spot. Again, the camp was picked up in the middle, so that can get value if this drags on. It's really hard for Choose Team to engage, but as you called earlier, Napalm Strike, not too bad.
Good for the interrupts. In the back line, Dahaka already getting the self-sustained. Twilight Dream got pushed back there, so no actual cast. 5 seconds till it's available once again. Isolation was spent.
Yeah, so far a bit of a win right now on the side of
Yoda.
Hot Dog, but Yoda is going to fall there. VP comes in on the backside. Let's see if they're going to follow up. Skullcracker and everything else is just annihilating Karazim. So right as I think that things are looking good, Yoda gets caught out.
Li Ming resets are scary, but this is a continuous threat. The Knights in the middle lane pushing on in. Tribute does end up going to Vox. Experience dead even still.
Yeah, those few kills definitely help keep you up. Siege Camp going to have to be dealt with here in the bottom. Looks like ETC on that mini-map. Going to rotate over with Sergeant Hammer. Get vision, maybe get that camp.
Yeah, Chu can actually just,
Just got to siege up
from
here,
afar.
wait for somebody to poke it.
There you go.
Easy.
Harmony. But they're losing mid-fort.
Structure starting to favor Vox Nihili the more this game goes on.
One Napalm Strike will seal the deal on the mid-fort and push them very close to level 16 if Chu can find the opportunity to cast that. I like the ETC escorting the camp up top, but it's not a stage dive, so he needs to be careful to not get caught up by his own. If with Zeus grabbing this, he'll feel a lot less safe and just rotate back immediately. Yep.
Good call.
Tribute should be here soon.
Yeah, both teams desperately want to get 16. They both should have it by the time that goes, and it's been really interesting the way these fights have played out. And most of these 5-on-5 fights, it seems to be favoring Vox Nihili. 5 kills to 3 working in their favor, but Tribute spun. It looked like they were possibly looking to clear out, maybe get a flank, but level 16 should be here off this
I think
wave.
they were probably just more worried about their watchtower there, just because like not having that vision makes you anxious. But they have 16, so they know they can grab this. They're just going to get in position, grab it up here for free, and they're going to be at curse point.
All right, level 16 here momentarily for Vox Nihili. An update, boss timer's about 30 seconds away from spawning on the side of Chu 8, and shortly behind that on the side. Look at that, try to make sure there's nobody in the bush. Siege Camp got to be picked up here by Vox Nihili. Look at that, just blind throws into every bush. That's how terrified they are of that ETC combo.
Yeah, I mean, one mosh pit could just be a huge swing in the game and kind of end your dreams. So they're playing safe. Good calls there. 16 for both teams has been picked up. Karazim now gets way scarier with the wave 100 fists.
We're also at that point to where it seems to be kind of like game ceiling, or at least it has been. This is a different story, but graduating range for Sergeant Hammer. If he's able to siege up and get serious range, it's really hard to get on that back line. And look at the spot that it's in. If Sergeant Hammer can siege up behind his entire team, should be able to get tremendous amount of poke in.
Yeah, this is obviously the spawn that you want to see as Chu 8 my hot doggy. Zeus in the backside looking for a potential void prison if they clump up too much. Knights just now respawning. Dahaka getting that global soak in top can, of course, brush stalker into limited places here. I mean, you don't necessarily want to go right into the thick of things. Look at how they forced the back. Lex Luthor going to be able to get this.
Yeah, Lex Luthor is going to get that pretty easy. Glaurung a little bit late to the party. Isolation has been used, but VP has isolated Glaurung on that front line. Justin is out too. Burrow has been used.
All right, Gus just on Lex Luthor, but the 7-sided strike doing huge damage to Daihu. They find the kill. Yoda onto Lex Luthor with Buds. Buds has the DPS, but Raffle sieging up beautiful roots, but they will get the kill. That last hit from Falstad.
That static you talked about, that lightning rod doing so much damage, being built up again. Wingman has a different thing built into it as well. So now they're going to be able to get this boss for free. This might actually end up being 2 bosses if they opt to rotate up and start the one on the side of Vox Nihili. But Jake, at the same time, it's also curse point. If that curse comes up, they have to make a decision. Do we fight the curse or do we fight against the boss? There's so much on the line right now. Huge pickup on those kills.
This is really bad for Vox. Look at the experience. Level lead. Well, there's 2 free forts as well. You take those down. I mean, Chu could. I mean, he's feeling a little, afraid. But they don't even need it.
Tough.
No, they'll get this curse for free, I think.
They're rotating up. They're opting to defend against Curse Point instead of taking the boss. If they lose both, this could be huge, as that bottom keep will go down. And if they lose 2 or 3 members, they might end up losing 2 keeps at the same time.
And if this draws out too long, I mean, that boss literally has full health, when it got to that wall. And that is no bueno. Chu 8 backing up, playing safe. Yoda able to brawl relatively well with Zeus. Glaurung looking for the flank. Zeus in a really bad spot. He's dead.
Zeus in a bad spot indeed. Chu 8 was able to delay at the last minute. Lex Luthor is channeling again. We see the Brush Stalker coming in. Lex Luthor they get the curse, but could it cost him? We see 7-sided strike going on the backside. Malfurion goes down. Rafflecopter is going to be the next of all. So much damage coming out from Buds. And look at this. This is such a crucial moment.
Okay, so this curse really just feels like it's gonna do nothing. They got that kill on Zeratul. The boss is gonna get this keep. A couple more punches, all it's going to take. Yeah, this is rough, man.
Yeah, this is perfect play. I mean, they were able to get the curse. They lose a keep in the meantime. The boss going to be pushing the top. They might end up losing that second keep. The good thing for them is they did get the curse, just barely. Level 20, though, man. This could be a game-ending push.
Yeah.
Do they stall this out? Do they wait to capture this? They're going to go ahead and capture it.
Keep the pressure on. Go grab the Knights. Take down the mid fort. Nope, they don't even want that. They're going for the full-on siege. So the mid lane pushed in due to this curse. The one benefit for Vox right now, but the experience has a huge gap in favor of Chew Ate My Hot Doggy, who are going to be pushing with this boss looking for a second keep.
All right, and also keep in mind, graduating range was picked up, and watch this. With this extra attack speed, Nexus Frenzy is just destroying that with the boss. The good thing is that boss going down pretty quickly because you have Li Ming on your side.
Is it quickly enough, though, Jay-How? The boss stop with the drag. Zeratul goes down in a heartbeat.
Things are looking good. The boss has gone down, but so has the keep in the process. 2 keeps are down, and that is the most crucial thing. You can stall this out. They do have graduating range. Will they feel they can protect this? There's nobody to get onto Sergeant Hammer on that back line safely. He is sieged up. They are going for the game. Right now, Glaurung trying to get those shots. The grenade not able to knock him back. Oh, they're continuing to knock him back with Wave of Force as well.
Cleanse was used there onto Daihu. He also popped the Avatar. Very costly save. It's still 20-17, almost 21-18 at this point in time. The roots are there, but the defense has been solid.
Well, the good thing is they're going to get this camp right here, and they're going to be able to push in again with graduating range. There's so much they can do, but excellent defense there by Vox Nihili.
Excellent defense, but they are so far behind now. There's not a thing they can do safely. Even if they go for this giant camp, that is a risk at this point in time.
They're also on 2 tributes.
Yeah.
With the 20-tier advantage.
Ooh. This is rough for Vox. Wingman going to scoop up these camps. Epic Mount, of course, making that fly less costly, shorter cooldown with it. Going for this mid wall, waiting for that last tribute. Likely will be Falstad going to that last tribute by himself, and then the team marching for a potential victory.
Yeah, Vox Nihili literally and figuratively have their backs against the wall, and in this case, it's their core. 2 lanes pushed in. Siege Camp picked up at the bottom. Curse about to be here. They're down. They don't have the level 20 talent here. They're going to have to take a risk, and it's going to be very tough. And look at graduating range. It's getting there, but the continued knockbacks are working in their favor.
And the graduating range once again, sieging it up, but the tribute is spawning, so they're just going to make their way back. This is a desperate fight. You never want to fight down Storm Talents, but you don't have a choice in this scenario. And if Vox can find a victory here, they'll stay alive. Otherwise, we're going to game 3.
Yeah, it'd be one heck of a comeback if they're able to pull it out. Odin is out. Zoo's on that backside in the bush. Look for him to land that big void prison on that backside. 3 people are captured in.
But Yoda with a clean gust, nullifying any impact. The mosh pit gets stopped by the Twilight Dream, but down goes Zeratul. Daihu in a bad spot himself. Dwarf toss away, barely. Doesn't matter. Buds is living in the back. This very low healing composition from Chew Ate My Hot Doge about to have a curse behind it.
They're already taking core damage down to 91%. This is only going to amplify it because there's going to be nothing in the way of that 80% and counting. Rufflecopter trying to go back, but Yoda flies right over. And Yoda actually dies there before anybody else. But the core is going down. Catapult's helping to win this game. Chew Ate My Hot Doggy with a 2-0 lead right now.
Whizzing to the Winions. The Dogies